everyone, and welcome back. This is Donna Valente, the co-founder of the Enterprise Sales Institute, which is the de facto sales performance academy that focuses on mindset for sales success in addition to practical skills and tools. Today's topic is the future of AI in B2B sales. Wouldn't it be great to have a tool that would help the sales reps capture all the engagement interactions with prospects, getting it into the CRM, and allow sales managers to see the information and coach the strategy as a result? You'd love that, right? So today I bring you an expert in sales effectiveness and sales enablement, Matt Walsh, who is the founder of Noted Analytics. Matt has worked for market leaders like SAP and was directly involved with AI technologies in the Center of Excellence. So I would say that Matt understands how to use technology to support sales teams and add value to their prospects and customers. A little side note is that Matt lived in Philadelphia for a number of years after graduating from Villanova U and is a big VU basketball fan. So Matt, welcome and congratulations for Villanova winning.
Thanks, Donna. Very, very happy to be here. And it was an exciting game yesterday. I'm looking forward to the games ahead.
I understand that Villanova is the world's pick to win the NCAA championship.
Yeah, which is nice. It's also a little scary, right? Sometimes it's more fun to be the underdog, but definitely not a bad position to be in.
Well, it's not a Cinderella story anymore, that's for sure.
Exactly.
So, Matt, why don't we jump into the topic? And, let me just ask you, what is sales going to look like in the future and with AI technologies?
Sure. So where I see sales going is a top sales rep has to be so much more consultative with their customers. It's not just a matter of forming just a relationship and just making a transaction happen. The rep really has to be able to know their customers. They have to provide value. They have to give insights that customer might not already know today. And I think sales professionals are in a great position because they can have so many different types of conversations with customers across so many different kinds of industries. Mm-hmm. So they can bring that unique perspective when they're working with their customers. And I think that's really where it has to go, because if you relied on just being a product expert, as an example, product information's online. The customer and prospect can find everything that they would want to find about a product online. Mm-hmm. So what are the areas that a sales rep can do that's not online? And that's really be more of that mentor or guide based on their experience and what else they've seen.
Mm-hmm. And, it's also being able to take the data that the reps are finding and making the insights relevant to each customer that they're talking to. So
absolutely,
having the ability to, source buyers, social footprint, the things that they're looking at, the things that they write about, the things that they're reading is really important. And I think saves a lot of time if these AI tools are able to capture that for the reps and serve that up to the reps in a way that's going to help them be effective in educating their prospect or clients.
I agree. I agree. And where I see AI having been successful so far, it's in automating those tasks and processes that take a lot of time. They're a bit manual. It's not necessarily the most fun thing to do, but it's kind of the necessary thing. Mm-hmm. For example, coordinating calendar and meeting times between two people. There's a company that I've used. It's called X.AI, and you'll have this little digital assistant. If mm-hmm. we're trying to coordinate a time for you and I to speak, Donna, I can CC this digital assistant, and then it will take over the back and forth communications between, hey, does Tuesday work? Mm-hmm. No, Tuesday's not good. Let's go Thursday at 3:30, and send an invite. And that's stuff that just takes up time, right? So AI, yeah, it's a good fit. It can be trained on that. If you ask it to do something outside of that, like, hey, what's a good customer reference now that we're talking about what time should we meet for lunch? It's not going to be able to do anything like that, right? It can be very good if it's given a specific task, but outside of that task it struggles on. And that's why,
Conversica is like that. That's another. There's another tool, Conversica, that is a virtual assistant, and takes on all that automated back and forth communication. I think it even serves up case studies and papers and things like that. I think a lot of people might argue that, hey, part of building the relationship is the rep actually doing that engagement and picking up the phone and talking to them. But I really see a lot of value in reducing the administrative burden using tools like that.
yep, absolutely, absolutely. And I think where AI is going to help is it's going to continue to find those one-off areas that just take a lot of time out of the sales rep's day. So then the sales rep can spend more time having those phone calls, right? Rather than trying to coordinate maybe something, maybe they can just start having more meaningful conversations early on. I know from previous times we've talked, right? I like that analogy that I heard around AI is the sous chef, whereas the sales rep is the master chef. The master chef can be creative. They can come up with the menu. They can use their wonderful technique and how they prepare dishes. But do they need to spend time chopping peppers and onions and things like that? No, they can have the sous chef do that, right? Kind of automate that task so they can focus on the things that are more value add.
So what are some of the other trends that you're seeing besides the X.AI and Conversica that sales leaders or sales operations people are starting to use when making decisions about increasing sales efficiency, or bringing up capturing data that's meaningful? If you want to talk a little bit about Noted Analytics, I'd love for you to share with us what you shared with me yesterday, because I think it's brilliant.
Sure. Absolutely. Great. So yeah, the whole idea behind Noted Analytics started from my experience in various sales roles at SAP. And I started to notice just how much information wasn't making its way into CRM, whether that was in a handwritten notepad. I myself was a big Evernote user. Colleagues of mine would use Microsoft Word, but there would be all of this rich information on that customer prospect that we were speaking to. What are their goals for the year? What systems are they using? What versions? Who are some of the other players in this space? So much information. And then my role wasn't to update CRM, so I did it. And all that information would just stay behind. And then what I started to notice was, from a sales operations perspective, or if you're a sales manager, you would have these weekly calls with your team to try and understand, is the team capturing the right information to advance and strengthen the sales opportunity? What's the compelling use case? What challenges are they facing? What happens if they do nothing? What's the real value if they have our solution? Is it a nice to have, or is it a need to have? It's these basic questions that they would ask over and over and over again. And my thought was, well, if we can produce something from the meeting notes, so as the rep is capturing information while they're speaking with their prospect, and we can start to identify what are those challenges, identify what are those benefits, now we can make it very easy for the sales operations folks and managers to be able to see that. So when they're having their coaching sessions, they're not trying to gather information from the sales rep. They're all looking at that information and then coaching on that. So you can either coach in half the time, or you can coach twice as many opportunities because you're spending less time collecting information and more time just on the advisement piece.
Yeah, I mean, that is so important. I think a lot of missed opportunities in doing account reviews when we're focused on process instead of focused on strategy. Who's looking at what data? Why are they examining that? Why are they reading those case studies? Who is it? Is the systems person? Is it the administrators? And having that insight really does give the sales manager and the sales rep an opportunity to plan a strategy, a win strategy, really.
Yeah.
It's great stuff.
Exactly. Thanks. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun so far. And the other opportunity that we've started to uncover too, just from speaking with people in the field, is changing the dialogue between the customer and the sales rep.
Mm-hmm.
So as we talked about, what's the future of sales? So the future of sales is being much more consultative. It's that sales rep being that trusted advisor. It's not just facilitating a transaction. It's building that long-term relationship where you can really help that customer through this challenge and future challenges, and just continue to be an advisor.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the best reps that I've worked with who do that extremely well, they build these mutual agreement plans throughout a sales cycle where it's documented what has happened in the past, what the next steps are, what the future steps are, who's responsible for it. So it's out in the open, right? It's pretty transparent between that buyer and the seller, what they're both working on. It's not like you're trying to sneak a deal, right? You're actively working on it, and you're seeing if it's a good fit. So
Yeah.
one of the other aspects of what we're doing with Node Analytics is automating that, making that easy to share that information so you can start to do that earlier in the sales cycle.
It sounds like it's really a tool, and all the AI tools can also help with, well, not as much as yours, but really can help with making sure your pipeline is clean. Like the deals that are in there are actually solid, as opposed to just having deals in there for, wish list, where I hope this works out. Yeah.
I completely agree. And where we try to help in that scenario too is if somebody is saying this deal is going to close at the end of the month, and then you look to see, well, what information have they uncovered to make me feel comfortable saying that this is going to come in at the end of the month. If you don't know who the economic buyer is, right? If you don't know what the budget is, if you don't know their process to buy, how can it possibly come in at the end of the month? Right? It can't. Right? It's like just hoping and wishing it will isn't going to make it so.
Yeah.
So are you capturing the right information, and then getting to this point where you can say, okay, Donna, maybe you met with this account 16 times. If we don't know budget by now, that hurts our chances of being able to bring this in. Or if you capture that information by, say, the 5th meeting, now we're ahead of the curve. Now it's even more likely to come in, right? So you can start to kind of back into these forecasting models and projections based on when you capture information and to what degree you do capture it.
That's really brilliant. And I'm going to close with asking you to tell everyone how they can, get in touch with you so they can learn a little bit more about your value proposition and how you're helping other sales teams.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can reach me. My email is Matt, M-A-T-T, at notedanalytics.com. That's NOTEDANALYTICS. And our website is notedanalytics.com as well, too. We are having a pilot program kicking off in April. So anyone who is interested in being a part of that small private pilot program, feel free to shoot us an email and we'll be happy to get in touch.
Oh, that's great, Matt. Thank you so much for joining. I hope you enjoyed our show, everyone. Carry on.